Hey guys, Omni here. We have a official first look trailer at The Conjuring 3. Now, the Conjuring series, the Conjuring universe as it stands now, has become one of my favorite things in recent horror. At least the first two Conjuring films and some of the other entries that have come about in its wake. It's definitely something really interesting and something different we haven't quite seen in horror. I really like the portrayal of these characters. I really like how James Wan introduced us to this world, to these characters who are real people in the world, and some really interesting people to follow up on and read about and listen to talk about spirits, possession, and all of that sort of stuff. It's really fun to kind of go through a lot of their history. Rest in peace. I believe Lorraine Warren finally just passed had just passed not too long ago. It hasn't been long since she passed. But I really like what they've been doing. Of course, I think a lot of the charm that brought a lot of the pathos and intrigue to the first two entries was James Wan's touch. And unfortunately, what I didn't like when I read was that The Conjuring 3, the next numbered title in this universe as far as the entries go, won't be directed by him. It's going to be directed by somebody else. And that does raise some concern. Though, even though he didn't touch Annabelle Comes Home, which really wasn't about Annabelle, which took place at the Warrens' home, still was one of the better side entries in there. And I did enjoy it. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was a haunted house fun ride. I liked all the different spirits and the kind of, even though they weren't as fleshed out as some of the ones in the other films, I like what they did in it for the most part. So maybe if it's along those lines, it'll be fine. But I'm still invested in this world, these characters that they've built out, and I'm curious to see what we got in this. So let's go ahead and check out the first look for The Conjuring 3.
We know there are other stories to tell, but we've never felt the pressure to push them out there until we feel like there is a great
Crooked
story to
Man.
tell and that we have something that, again, will be a worthy entrance to the Conjuring universe.
I'd like you all to sit quietly and close your eyes.
I really wanted Conjuring 3 to get away from the haunted house setup of the first two Conjuring films. It should be more on a whole different level, something that we've never explored before in the Conjuring world.
We wanted to keep our new story grounded in the feel of Conjuring movies.
At least he's
but we
still
wanted to
like
make sure we were telling
hands-on.
a brand new story. And we think the Arnie Johnson story was something that really deserved a much closer look.
As I got to the bottom of the stairs and I went to open the door, I don't remember anything from that point. The next thing I know, I was in a jail cell.
Okay.
And I said, "What's going on here?" And they say, "Well, you're being charged for murder." I said, "Well, what are you talking about?"
The trial of Arnie Cheyenne Johnson.
Okay.
This was an internationally renowned case, which was the first time in the history of law in the United States that...
That demonic possession was used as a reason for committing manslaughter.
Do you think you'll be able to prove the existence of the devil in court?
Truth doesn't require anyone to believe in it. You're in for a much different ride than you've been on in other Conjuring films.
Yeah,
What's the point of a sequel
that's
if you
definitely
can't
different.
Outshine and outstory and out-heart the previous films. It just requires you to bring your A-plus game.
When I was working with Michael Shabs on La Llorona, I saw a filmmaker that really gets these kind of films. It's bittersweet for me to pass the baton on.
I've heard nothing good about that one.
Fresh take on where we can take the Conjuring.
So
universe.
that's a little
We're offering
concerning.
something very special with these films, and I think that's one of the reasons people keep coming back. The final reason, of course, is that people love to be scared. I don't know that anybody has crafted or created better scare sequences than James Wan, David Sandberg, Gary Dauberman, Corin Hardy, John Leonetti, Michael Shabs.
Guys, we're making Conjuring 3. It's gonna be awesome.
These are all people that really know what they're doing, and they do an incredible job crafting new and original scare sequences. That's really what people come back to see.
Well, except for the nun. The nun was the same scare the entire movie. Okay, so I haven't seen The Curse of La Llorona. That's the only one out of the Conjuring universe that I haven't seen. And technically, it wasn't made with the intent of it being connected to the other films. They decided to change the marketing of it, and brought it under that umbrella to try to help it do better. So maybe some of what was done with that, maybe it's because there was zero James Wan involved in that. But even so, The Nun still happened under his tentpole, and I thought was just complete trash. That movie was so bad. I had fun watching it. It was definitely, it made me laugh because it was way longer than it needed to be. The Annabelle movies, for the most part, I've enjoyed them. They're not perfect. They're not that great. Annabelle Comes Home, I actually did quite enjoy. And Annabelle Creation, I thought was one of the better films. But The Conjuring 1 and 2, I adore. I love both of those movies. And I think a lot of it comes from the heart of the characters, because that's one of the things that I really like about those movies is that they really focus on the characters, the feeling. It doesn't, when there's not scary stuff happening, it feels like a family film almost. It really connects you with everybody in there, and it makes you, it's one of the few times in recent horror movies I've actually been invested in the well-being of the people that I'm watching. And that's what I really liked about them. It's not so much the depth of the scares, that these movies scare me by any means. It's not that they're not always the most inventive, but it's the most, they're the ones that I've seen recently that have had the most heart to them. And I think that's what really grounds them the most and makes it feel like there's some stakes involved. That's my takeaway from them. So yeah, I was a little taken aback to see that this was kind of like this kind of like behind the scenes kind of first look trailer. And that's probably due to the shutdown, realistically. They probably, I don't know if they finished shooting, how much of the movie is actually done. I would assume, and this is just me assuming, I don't know, that maybe they got shut down in the middle of production and they were like, all right, we want to put something out there for everybody and be like, all right, we're working on this. We'll give you something to look at. So we'll do like this behind the scenes kind of hype trailer. Talk about what they're doing, some projections for what to expect, the story that they're tackling, which from what I understand is a real case. So what did you guys think of this? Are you looking forward to it? Oh, by the way, the Crooked Man. I don't know how they're going to bring that back into it, because that was a children's story, unless it's another entity just taking on the guise of the Crooked Man. The Crooked Man, from what I understand, wasn't a demon or an entity or a spirit. It was just this child's tale. Don't know. It looked great. It looked creepy. I like the design of that thing. It looked like it was ripped right out of some creepy, more intense Tim Burton thing. But yeah, sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll carry on the conversation after the video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everybody.